She said the point is that when you supposedly take ableism seriously, the standard applies to you as well. It's a leftist thing, Tom. I I really don't like this. I take offense to this. Ableism is something that I take very personally. It's important to me. It's personal for me. I don't like this as if one, not liking ableism is a leftist thing, and two, as if I wouldn't understand. That that's not okay. All right. I I will leave it at that before I get pissed off. All right. So my issue here is with something that Aiko said. On Twitter, we got into a small argument about the Vaush Mel drama. And me and Aiko are friends, so like I don't want to make it sound like we have beef. We don't. But I was just watching her stream earlier. I'm banned on Twitch, so I was not able to comment. So I wanted to be able to respond in one way. So in this video, I would like to respond to this. She said right here, this was on Spicy Lady Irene's Twitter, where she said she wanted to talk to Vaush. She had just talked to Mel, and she wanted to talk to Vaush about the conversation as well. And then Aiko commented and said, I'm on the side of it being really effing weird that he interrupted her to say that he just got a DM from a black trans autistic woman in a wheelchair who has lived in 63 countries over the course of their life, and that you were wrong about all of them. I said, oh, well, why is it weird? Mel was playing the Oppression Olympics to decide who she listens to or believes. She just so happened to get a very real he just so happened to get a very real DM from the current reigning champion in the Oppression Olympics with important lived experiences that he needed to know about. She said the point is that when you supposedly take ableism seriously, the standard applies to you as well. It's a leftist thing, Tom. I really don't like this. I take offense to this. Ableism is something that I take very personally. It's important to me. It's personal for me. I don't like this as if one, not liking ableism is a leftist thing, and two, as if I wouldn't understand. That's not okay. All right. I will leave it at that before I get pissed off. So I said, so she said the standard applies to you as well, or like if you take ableism seriously, the standard applies to you as well. I said, wait, what standard? What is it you're implying he did wrong here? She said he made up an ableist scenario in the moment, and that clearly did not happen, and tried to start a narrative about her being ableist herself within the conversation. Did you hear that, chat? Wink, wink. So let's watch the video real quick. You'll see what it is he said.
actually.
Hold on, wait. I just got a DM in Discord from a black trans autistic woman in a wheelchair. They're saying that they've lived in 63 countries over the course of their life, and that you're wrong about all of them. Are you? Do you live? Are you in a wheelchair, or is that a point of privilege that you have over this individual?
That's incredibly fucked up to say.
What are you disagreeing with them?
I'm not going to entertain that. That's just incredibly fucked up for you.
Yeah, to, like, it's real fun when you can try to use it to win arguments over white boys, but then when somebody makes fun of you for it, it becomes fucked up. Yeah, take your crybaby civility politics bullshit on to the next stream that I'll have you on. There'll probably be a dozen people who want to talk to you about how you owned me after this convo.
Not really. I mean, I wanted to just talk to you. I wasn't really hoping that I didn't really have a lot of high or low expectations. I was kind of going into it.
I didn't know you were an ableist too.
I'm not really ableist, but that's kind of you because you've been pretty,
speaking over the lived experience of a wheelchair-bound person, Mel. I don't know.
I don't know. That's just I didn't expect you to say
was
that.
Was I wrong? Did I not hear Mel be ableist there? I'm pretty sure that I heard that.
Well, I have never been ableist this entire conversation.
I appreciate you coming on.
So when he says it was a trans autistic black woman in a wheelchair, it's because earlier in the conversation, Mel made it sound like she only cared about she was using idpol to say that someone's experience or opinion matters more than data. So this is where it came from. This is why he was saying that. This is what he was responding to. He was trying to give her a taste of her own medicine.
To prove it. What are you doing?
I'm not proving anything. I'm saying,
I know you're not. Why would you make a claim and then demand?
No, I'm going through the definition.
I think North Korea is more of a client state. Can you explain to me how that's the case? What are you talking about?
So we know we both Googled client state.
You made a claim that was, by the way, had nothing to do, because client state and buffer state are not mutually exclusive.
Let's see, what is idpol? Idpol is identity politics. Identity politics is pretty much it's using someone's identity to say that their opinion matters more. At least that's how you explain like liberal idpol. So like liberals will say things like, if say I argue with Candace Owens about whether or not systemic racism really exists, and Candace Owens keeps telling me, like, no, systemic racism isn't a real thing. It doesn't exist. A liberal would say, Tom, you can't tell a black woman about her own lived experiences. You can't tell a black woman about her own life. Because she's black, I cannot tell her that she's that she has struggled with systemic racism, or that she's been oppressed by systemic racism, or even that systemic racism just exists in general. I'm not allowed to tell her that. That is liberal idpol. So that's what he's accusing Mel of in just a second.
Characterization of North Korea being a buffer state is objectively correct. It might serve that definition better than any country on Earth right now.
Correct. How do you know that you're objectively correct, Vaush?
I'll leave that one to the historians. Do you have any other subjects that you want to run over?
Do you have a source about the relationship between China and North Korea?
Let's do you want to maybe embarrass yourself on the geopolitical interests of any other countries in Southeast Asia? Or anything else?
I don't think you don't. I don't I mean, it's the same thing with Luna Oi. Like, you don't know anything about Vietnam either.
Luna Oi's video on me was embarrassing. She spent 2 minutes misinterpreting an argument that she had vaguely seen on Twitter, and 18 of them talking about a person who wasn't me.
Again, when people that are from those parts of the world try to talk about
nice liberal identity politics, when women of color speak out, you should listen, Vaush. Really? Damn, you should be running your own racial sensitivity meetings at businesses.
Luna Oi is a Vietnamese socialist who actually also uses identity politics as well and makes really bad points. In the few times that I've seen her, she's made some pretty bad points.
How is that liberal?
Do you know what liberal idpol is?
I do.
You're like, what's D'Angelo? What's the name of that lady? You're like, you should be running those white fragility classes, you know? When you hear a voice of a woman of color, you should speak out. Nah, I prefer to let the arguments do the talking, personally.
I don't necessarily think that you just need to listen to everything, like, people of color.
Why don't I just assess the arguments? Why do I have to make it a race thing?
That's not what it's not a race thing. It's that when people are actually from that part of the world and they have experience or they understand the intricacies of like their own people and their own groups that are part.
But Luna Oi was wrong. She talked in her video and said incorrect statements about Vietnam. I googled, like, she made strong claims about the interests of their people, and it turns out she was wrong.
Lives there. She lives there, and told her she was wrong.
Wait,
and she lives there.
So again, he's saying there's data to say that she's wrong, and Mel is saying, but she lives there, as if that matters, as if she is more right than data because she lives there, right? Like, I live in Atlanta. If one of these SJWs, somebody like Aiko, she's a great example of an SJW. If Aiko starts telling me that systemic racism is a problem in the United States, I can be like, well, actually, as a Native American in Atlanta, I can tell you that systemic racism is not a problem in Atlanta. We don't have that here. It doesn't exist. It's not a problem for us. Maybe everywhere else in the United States, but as a person of color, it is not a problem here. That would be a ridiculous thing to say. My personal experience does not make any difference. It does not, it doesn't override data.
You think you should take anecdotes from one YouTuber over Pew Research data to form opinions on a country? Did I just hear that correctly?
So you're more willing to take an American
Pew
or
Research data.
Study. No. You're more willing to take a Western anecdotal study over someone who actually lived in Vietnam.
Bro, Pew Research is totally Western. You should just listen to this YouTuber. Yeah, no shit, because I'm not an anti-intellectual.
So you think it's anti-intellectual to not listen to someone that's
to ignore
the country
data because one person said otherwise? Hey, wait. Can I ask you something?
Sure, go ahead.
So Luna Oi said that Vietnamese people don't like the market reforms that their country has been undergoing since the 1990s. But the data says that 94% of the Vietnamese people support market reforms and want more of them.
Because
that's a greater majority than that's a
choice.
Hold on. That's a great hold on. That's a greater majority than any other country that was listed on that study by an exponential factor. So
they have no choice.
So wait, so you're saying Luna Oi was wrong? They do want it, but they have no choice but to want it?
Well, they have no choice because the only way for them to compete in the market is to open that market. But it doesn't necessarily mean.
Oh my goodness, that's not even an argument against what he's saying. He's asking, is she right or is she wrong? And she's saying, but they have no choice but to believe that. He's not asking why she believes that. You can give reasons for why she believes that. That's fine. The question is she right or wrong? The reasons don't matter. Is she right or wrong? it is so hard. It is so hard to listen to lefties. I'm sorry. They all have brainworms. My head wants to explode. I had somebody earlier in a lefty chat trying to tell me that cultural genocide and regular genocide are the same thing. Because Mel was comparing ICE detention centers, to genocide. And we'll get to that in a little bit in the Dr. Heimdall conversation with her. But the ICE detention centers are not the same. They are not genociding people. And you might say that they're culturally genociding, that it is a cultural genocide because they're taking kids away from their Latino parents and giving them to white people to take care of. That might be a cultural genocide of some sort. But to say that cultural genocide is the same thing as genocide is so offensive, so ridiculously wrong. The Jews being genocided, like literally killed off, trying to get rid of all of the Jewish people, being gone. You're not on earth anymore. You are not alive anymore. This is not the same as your culture disappearing. This is not the same as whether or not you eat shish kebabs on a nightly basis. This is not the same as whether or not you wear a shawl to church or to synagogue. This is not the same as whether or not you get to go eat it at Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell and Pizza Hut like any other white person who has culturally appropriated everybody else's culture. These are not the same. If you get rid of those things, you are culturally genociding them, but that's not the same as actually killing them off. That is not the same. And to compare the two is disgusting. And lefties, they do this sort of thing. It's almost the same as genocide denial. To say that cultural genocide is the same as genocide, this is pretty much genocide denial. This is you downplaying genocide or upplaying cultural genocide. I don't know which one. I don't know which one you're doing in this case.
They want it, so they want those reforms so they can compete in the market.
They're being held at the standard of the Western market, so they have to do it to compete, or else they'll starve.
Interesting. Do you hold this criticism for the reforms that have been pushed in Africa due to the Belt Road Initiative?
They're not the same situation. They're 100% different.
So the Vietnamese people democratically deciding to introduce market reforms is actually worse than China imposing economic initiatives on African countries.
Not even remotely the same argument.
Well, you're bad with comparisons, so I know. You are all over the place. So to answer your question broadly, no, I don't listen. No, I don't take single anecdotes over data.
I've been trying to understand, like, where your framing is for where you're getting your arguments, and every time I press you and ask you a question to make sure I get, like, you understand the nuance, you just repeat yourself.
Your nuance was ignore data because it's from the West.
I'm not saying that Western data is bad. I don't believe that all Western data is bad. That's just ignorant.
You just said, would you really take Western data over the anecdote of one individual?
No, I didn't say that. I meant, like...
Wait, chat, did she not say that?
She most definitely said that.
That's not...
You know this is being recorded, right? My memory is not that bad.
Of course I do, but you're misinterpreting everything that I'm saying.
Did you misspeak?
Everything literal, and you're just going through every single...
When I said something wrong, you took it literally. You should have interpreted it allegorically. Like a...
It is denial. Many deny the Holocaust genocide today. Well, so that's true. And she's a tanky, which is like an authoritarian communist. But he continuously compares her to a Nazi, which Tankies are like Nazis, and because she is a genocide denier, this is why he brought Mel on here, was to talk about her tweets, to talk about how she is a genocide denier. He brought her on to talk about these things and then continuously compares her to Nazis and how they obfuscate every single argument that he makes or every question that he asks because they don't want to actually take a hard position when they're in a conversation with somebody else. So like they'll tweet all sorts of stuff and then say it's all just jokes, it's all memes. But then when they're actually confronted with the things that they say, they'll say, oh, it's just jokes. Like, I'm not being serious. It's just Twitter. Who cares about Twitter? Which at that point makes it all dog whistling. Like, if that's the direction you're going to go, you're going to say, oh, well, none of it's serious. Well, then it's all dog whistles at that point. But yes, as you said, Mary, lots of people deny the Holocaust. And people like Mel deny the Uyghur genocide or cultural genocide in China. And this is how this conversation started in the first place. Tankies are very similar to Nazis in a lot of ways, which is actually why I believe in horseshoe theory.
Dance.
You're interpreting everything I'm saying. Literally, you're not giving any sort of
You complained that I interpreted what you said literally. You're like beyond parody.
Beyond parody. Okay, so Fuentes, Groper, Red Fash, Tanky,
when Fuentes doesn't like data, he calls it Jewish, and you call it Western.
Beyond parody. What else are you going to say to me, Vaush? How condescending can you possibly be this entire
I don't know. What you are, in this case, digging your own grave right now. So I'm just watching.
I don't lose anything about this. I think I'm going to lose nothing after this conversation.
Well, no, because you don't have anything. You're not like some giant public figure.
So right there where he compares her to Nick Fuentes, he's Nick Fuentes is a Nazi. Like he is a far right winger, and he is also somebody who has dog whistled about genocide denial as well. So I think everybody gets the point. Mel is using liberal idpol to avoid the conversation. She's trying to, like, when he gives facts and data to say that you're wrong, she says, well, no, we can just listen to anecdotal testimony from a single person who says that you're wrong. She doesn't go to get other data to say that he's wrong. She says, let's listen to one person who lives there. Which takes us back to this. This is what he was doing. So she was saying, because it's a woman of color, Luna Oi, she is a woman of color who lives in that country. We should listen to her instead of data. She knows better than anybody else who studies these things, no matter how many books you've read about it, no matter how much, how many classes you took or how many degrees you have. She knows better because she lives in that country. 5-year-olds live in that country as well. Are we going to listen to the 5-year-olds? She's using oppression Olympics mindset to say, because she is a woman and a person's, is that how you're supposed to say it now? A person's of color? I can't remember. They keep changing it up on me. But because she is a person's of color, we should listen to her over data. So, because she uses oppression Olympics to make a point, he does it right back to her and finds the most oppressed person you could possibly imagine. The most oppressed person you could possibly imagine. He just got a DM from a black trans, autistic woman in a wheelchair who has lived in 63 countries over the course of their life, and that you're wrong about all of them. A black, trans, autistic woman in a wheelchair who has lived in 63 countries. This person, according to Mel, would be right about everything. They know more than anybody. Nobody could know more than this person. Now, obviously, he's just kidding. Obviously, it's just a meme. Nobody would actually believe that he just got this DM. Nobody would believe that. It's a joke. He's just making a point. He's giving her a taste of her own medicine. That's how we got here.
Actually,
Hold on, wait. I just got a DM in Discord from a black trans autistic woman in a wheelchair. They're saying that they've lived in 63 countries over the course of their life, and that you're wrong about all of them. Are you? Are you in a wheelchair, or is that a point of privilege that you have over this individual?
That's incredibly fucked up to say.
What are you disagreeing with them?
I'm not going to entertain that. That's just incredibly fucked up.
There's nothing ableist about what it is he's saying.
For you,
yeah,
like,
it's real fun when you can try to use it to win arguments over white boys, but then when somebody makes fun of you for it, it becomes fucked up. Yeah, take your crybaby civility politics bullshit on to the next stream that'll have you on.
You can use it over white boys, but you don't like it when it's used against you, right? You can only use this oppression Olympic stuff, this persons of color stuff against white boys because they don't count. Nobody's going to say, oh, are you seriously speaking over a white boy? Well, they are going to say that pretty soon. They're going to say that pretty soon because it's about to be a white boy summer.
There'll probably be a dozen people who want to talk to you about how you owned me after this convo.
Not really. I mean, I wanted to just talk to you. I wasn't really hoping that I didn't really have a lot of high or low expectations. I was kind of going into it.
I didn't know you were an ableist too.
I'm not really ableist, but that's kind of you because you've been pretty,
Because she's speaking over a person in a wheelchair, she is ableist. It's a joke. It's a meme. He's using her tactics against her. But she's being serious. He is joking.
Over the lived experience of a wheelchair-bound person, Mel. I don't know.
I don't know. That's just I didn't expect you to say
was
that.
Was I wrong? Did I not hear Mel be ableist there? I'm pretty sure that I heard that.
Well, I have never been able.
So you see like Kex, laughing faces, the sarcastic face, no you, meaning he's doing it right back to her. They gonna clip that analogy. Like, this literally says, they gonna clip that analogy.
This entire conversation.
I appreciate you coming on.
So while I crank it up, we'll start this off.
Seemed interested. I wonder why that is. Well, it's because the Armenian genocide and the fascist government ran by Erdogan, which is in Turkey, which is a NATO country, which is a U.S. ally, which bought drones from a country called Israel that was firing rockets at the Armenian army.
In Discord from a black trans autistic woman in a wheelchair. They're saying that they've lived in 63 countries over the course of their life, and that you're wrong about all of them. Are you? Are you in a wheelchair, or is that a point of privilege that you have over this individual?
That's incredibly fucked up to say.
What are you disagreeing with them?
I'm not going to entertain that. That's just incredibly fucked up for you.
Yeah,
to, like,
it's real fun when you can try to use it to win arguments over white boys, but then when somebody makes fun of you for it, it becomes fucked up. Yeah, take your crybaby civility politics bullshit onto the next stream that'll have you on. There'll probably be a dozen people who want to talk to you about how you owned me after this convo.
Not really. I mean, I wanted to just talk to you. I wasn't really hoping that I didn't really have a lot of high or low expectations. I was kind of going into it.
I didn't know you were an ableist too.
Did you? Okay,
really
listen.
ableist, but that's kind of you.
That's the moment, like during that pause, while she was like talking instead of listening, he just like, it just occurred to him, and it's like, I should just say that she's able, you know? Literally, when I talked to Relly a while back, because Fanatic was saying that he posted a fake racist tweet and attributed it to me and like said a bunch of stuff, and then it immediately like debunked himself on Relly's thing. But when Relly was talking to him, it's not about it being a joke. Listen, I stopped the clip. I'm not done. So, fuck.
This is me going off in the comments. Like, dude, it's a freaking joke. The guy made a joke. You're acting like he's serious. This isn't right. You're being bad faith. Like, this doesn't make any sense. So hopefully, this video will help make sense of whatever it is that she's missing.
He wasn't being serious. Okay. He was not being serious, but it's not, okay. And we haven't gotten to the part yet, okay? We're not done. But in this, what he did, like, don't make shit up. Just don't make shit up. It's like one thing if you're wrong, but don't do things just because it'll make you feel good. But Golcifer, I found the part that we wanted, and wait, did I tell you that yet? During when she talked to him. But okay, but listen. Okay, just literally just listen to what happens.
I'm not going to entertain that. That's just incredibly fucked up for you.
Yeah, it's real fun when you can try to use it to win arguments over white boys, but then when somebody makes fun of you for it, it becomes fucked up. Yeah, take your crybaby civility politics bullshit onto the next stream that'll have you on. There'll probably be a dozen people who want to talk to you about how you owned me after this convo.
Not really. I mean, I wanted to just talk to you. I wasn't really hoping that I didn't really have a lot of high or low expectations. I was kind of going into it.
I didn't know you were an ableist too.
I'm not really ableist, but that's kind of you because you've been pretty,
speaking over the lived experience of a wheelchair-bound person, Mel. I don't know.
I don't know. That's just I didn't expect you to say
was
that.
Was I wrong? Did I not hear Mel be ableist there? I'm pretty sure that I heard that.
Well, I have never been ableist this entire conversation.
I appreciate you coming on.
So the reason why I was talking about like Relly, when I talked to Relly, about when Relly and Fanatic were talking, and to make a point, Relly said that, if I say, he said, like, as an example, if I said that you are anti-Semitic and hate Asians or something like that, like and he just said it, he's like, that would be irresponsible or something, because it would like then people could actually just think that. So like I think it was more like you don't have to sit there and let people lie about you, like as an example. But I literally got DMs from people asking if it's true, if it's true that he hates Jewish people and Asians.
Yeah, the people calling Fanatic anti-Semitic were also memeing. It's a meme. It was a meme when they said it, when they were calling Mel a what do you call it? What was it again? It was a meme when they were calling Mel ableist, and it was a meme when they were calling Fanatic anti-Semitic. Bro, my wall is freaking cool, dude. I got the freaking the pink, the purple, the blue, and the green. It's like a whole rainbow right here. This is beautiful. Look at all that. Look at all that. I did that. We're doing big things here on the Tomfoolery Show, guys. We're doing big things. We got lights with colors. Make sure you tune in next time, because we might be doing something else big as well. Appreciate you joining, Freddie, Mary, Project Sadface. I can't remember everybody who joined, but all of yous. Later, fools.